Hello, Zakk.
Hello, Polly. It has been a week.
It's been a week, but you know what's funny about weeks?
Go on.
They start. And currently today, we have someone who has been with me since the start, and he owns an arc. Look over there.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm really old. Yeah, I think is the point of that message.
Well, no, bro. You actually have been with me since the start of my YouTube journey. You invited me to my first live stream. It's been a minute, so thank you for coming on.
It's definitely been a minute. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, it's we're definitely friends at this point. You know, it's been a minute, like you say.
But tell the people who you are.
Okay, so my name is Dendan Kushi. I am a YouTube theorist, I guess, who talks about stuff that will probably not come true, but if it does, then, you know, I'll bathe in the glory. I'm currently on about to hit 6K, I think. Ooh. You can watch, you can also find me on TLA. You might have heard of TLA through Polly already. If not, go check them out. But yeah, more about you guys. So you tell the people more about you guys.
Well, we are the Roll Skull Podcast. I'm Paula P. Works, and this is my illustrious co-host, Zakk, also known as Pinball PA Zakk, on the TikTok.
I also do theories on One Piece, and when I'm eventually right, I will be right about everything from the start till the end of time. I don't care about your canon because I'm already correct. Oda will prove me right in the end.
Also, you can find Zakk on Reddit Sephiroth.
On the YouTubes.
On the YouTube, yes. He does a lot of cool wrestling.
Make sure you subscribe to everybody here.
We're starting with subscribing, and then we'll end with subscribing to make it sure that it's full circle.
Yes.
Bookmark.
Make sure that you make it to the end of the podcast so that you can really appreciate what we're doing here.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll save a special treat for the end.
So, talking about special treats, what a chapter.
I was going to say, talking about circles now. Holy moly, this chapter is certainly something.
Yes.
Like, we start with a tearful, regretful goodbye between two friends that can no longer, exist around each other due to circumstances, immediately followed by Tom and Jerry Looney Tunes shenanigans.
Literally Jerry and the little gray mouse that he hangs around with. I forgot his name. Mm-hmm. Boy.
Yeah, I can't remember. Actually, yeah.
I don't know what to even say, to be perfectly honest.
I could say this. I called everything about Bonnie. I was right. Oh, Bonnie coin go up. Zakk, my stonks are so high. Have you seen them? Look at my stonks.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's true. I've seen, I've been on Reddit.
Oh, I feel so vindicated. For those of you who don't know, I call what the devil fruit that she has would be called back in, August of 2023. I have looked around. I am the only one. I'm so happy about it because, man, the dividends are paying themselves.
I look all around and yet I stand alone upon the top of the mountain.
Oh, bruh. It's joyous. What do you think about? Go on.
What do you think it's just, it's not your average fruit? I know a lot of characters in One Piece, they didn't intentionally go out and seek a fruit and eat it. That seems to be something that Oda's definitely pushed. They're not all eaten intentionally. Think like Luffy, Buggy, Law. But her fruit does seem different. So it is interesting that it's named the same and or it's named as if it is a devil fruit and that. And yeah, just very interesting. And it's a cool name as well.
Yeah, age. I mean, obviously, Saturn goes in, he creates Bonnie in a way. Yeah. To actually experiment with devil fruit, right? I'm assuming that Bonnie is devil fruit experimentation about, what happens if you put a dog fruit in a sword. or a canon. Except, what if we did that with people? I'm assuming that's
Yeah,
done,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because what he says
I think-
is, oh, go on.
I was going to say, yeah, I think like I completely agree with like the dog and the Tanuki teapot and stuff. Like Oda's left breadcrumbs of this idea of, you know, what a fruit or the essence of it at least can be put into, and particularly when we see the Gorosei transformations, it's very fruit essence like vibes, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't mention like a fruit model. It just says, these are the guys, this is what they are. And it's very interesting because I wonder if Sabaody came out today, if they would do the same with Bonnie.
Like, that's the interesting part, because as far as we know about Bonnie now, she's in a very unique situation, because how it's explained is that Saturn took the essence of like a pre-existing age fruit, right? So the age fruit existed before. He took the extraction from that and put it in a baby. She was that baby. This makes her like the only human devil fruit user who didn't technically eat their fruit, and so far she's the youngest, as far as we know.
I believe like that's maybe where we're going here. It's like, have you ever heard of the concepts like indigo children and stuff like that? Like, you know, that like the newer age of people, and particularly with ideas around everyone losing their devil fruits, right? What happens if everyone does lose their devil fruit ability? Does Bonnie keep hers because hers seems more innate in her genetics, and then it was awakened, well, not awakened, but it was sort of like activated by willing her age to be different when she was in the same church that like Kuma was in when his paws came on his hands, through when the light came through the window and stuff like that. So I definitely think that Oda's going to lean into this sort of idea that there'll be a new, you know, Bonnie's probably a bit of a remnant of the ancient kingdom in a way, like kind of you know, like the new version of the ancient kingdom's people or something like that.
I can see it.
My only thought about like the idea that Bonnie is an experiment, right? Because like the way that it's worded is like she's basically an experiment, which could mean two things.
Right.
I.e., A, she could be a physical scientific experiment, as in, I'm trying this new hypothesis, I'm going to put the fruit inside this child. Or B, he could have just given her the devil fruit and then effectively see what happens, see the absolute limits of what this devil fruit is capable of by using it on its most, I guess, pivotal, its most wanted host. That being a child whose future is filled with possibilities, whose imagination can run absolutely wild with it. It could be one of those two things.
Because I
agree.
I agree too, because it seems as though that's what we're going for. And I don't know, this is completely hearsay. It seems as though this was made to be an anti-Nika weapon initially.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I
love that. Love that. Like, yeah.
Because if seeing as how we can do the same things as Luffy with this ability, it seems as though this was made in preparation for the day to come that we have to challenge Nika. And
as soon as we find the food fruit, she will be unstoppable.
Oh, take her the whole cake.
It is interesting because, like, to contrast what you're saying, like, I think it's Mars who says it's not a real Nika, and that line suggests to me that, like, that you're right, that there is an anti-Nika or something, potentially the Yami, but the Toshi isn't quite it, because or either that or he's mistaken and it can be as powerful as the Gomu. Because it is interesting, but there is this whole thing about heartbeats, right? And it makes sense now. We've seen in the anime, and Luffy turned Gear 5, we saw the sine wave for the heartbeat. So maybe if you do have an anti-Nika or like the Toshi, you could like do the same heartbeat and like put it out of phase, if you know what I mean. You could like superimpose it and cancel it out, kind of thing.
I like that. Like there's a inverse wave you can put out to cancel. Yeah, I like that.
Exactly, yeah. Inverse wave, yeah.
On that point, like not like getting off of Yami Yami, I wonder if there's in lore, kind of like how you have Lucifer and God and whatnot. I wonder if there is a evil alternative to Nika that is a Zoan fruit that does that same thing, that exact same thing.
And his name is Blackbeard.
Like, will Blackbeard get a Zoan that does that?
You're assuming he doesn't already.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Lucci?
Octopus have
in
5 hearts.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I hate the octopus theory. I do, but moving off of that, when you talk about Den, Lucci is interesting because his name means like literally still light, like rob as in a robber, and then Lucci translates to light. So it's
yeah.
And
Lucci and Luffy are obviously very similar, titles.
It's weird because I would I like that, and I think Lucci could be a D. It's very positive. Because when I first started, I made this video about him possibly being the love child of Nefertiti Cobra and somebody else.
It's weird, right?
Cobra.
It is him, Kiros. They all look adult, and they all look so weird. Like
there's a specific look that native royalty has.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Lucci looks posh, man. Like,
yeah, he does.
Bougie.
And then the whole upgrade to CP0 doesn't help. He dresses his bird to look like him. It's odd. And on that point, what's interesting too,
wait for Hattori to be a D.
I know, right?
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Hattori D pigeon.
Hattori D.
Yeah, Hattori D.
It's not out yet, but I'm gonna edit it after this. What I talk about in my video about this chapter is it's interesting that Stussy is being put in a very peculiar position because, as far as we know, Stussy really isn't the homie. She is a co-worker. Because in the big cover story that we have, we see the CP9 guys hanging out. They are a family.
Which is good.
Yeah. So
I love CP9.
So her, being an outcast in this situation makes a lot of sense because even as recently as a few chapters ago, uncharacteristic of Lucci, he says to Mars, please don't harm Kaku if you find him. And then Mars, of course, takes this flippantly saying, what's one ant when I'm exterminating the hive or something like that, which was a code line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I find... Go on.
It's difficult for him to not kill one ant when he's destroying the whole hive or something, or the whole colony or whatever.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Lucci isn't just a cold-blooded murderer. He does take family first and foremost, and I think that's an admirable trait. So that's why Stussy in this situation is interesting, and much like Bonnie, and I've talked about this before. It's very Straw Hat giving. I'm not gonna commit to anything yet, but I could see it.
I just love
Stussy?
I love how shaken up about this Stussy is.
Yeah.
Because, man, alongside Kizaru, Stussy is having the worst day.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame in a way that we can't, we don't have time to go into it a bit more because there's just something about her that's just so, interesting. And we really we've had a lot, but in a short space of time. It's like Vegapunk's speech. It doesn't feel like a whole live stream, but if you watch it in one go, then you need to go to sleep afterwards. So
it's just that Stussy is a character that just has everything attached to her to the point where she just feels like a tool. You have to be this, you have to be that, you have to be this, you have to be that. The moment that she feels like she has a group of friends that she could rely on, a purpose in life, and a human soul, her dad dies, all of her other clones die, and she gets kicked out of her friend group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes!
It's definitely reminiscent of the arc. We're seeing it in so many different forms, this idea that machines making decisions for themselves and having agency and sacrificing themselves and So yeah, it's interesting.
And it's doubly sad because we know from the Kuma flashback into the current story that she already has some self image issues because she knows of her own nature. She knows that she's a copy of somebody else. So it feels like now she's getting punished for her own agency.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only
exactly what it means to be human, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then go on.
Sorry.
No, go.
I was going to say something that Coob said to me yesterday, which I find crazy interesting, is also I was going to say something. Stussy has an OP a power in One Piece, which is the power of being old. Like she just old characters, like because she's like backing, right, tied to backing. Old characters just seem to know so much. She has ties to rocks and stuff. So it makes sense that she's like CP0 rather than CP9. But also, Coob mentioned how do I think, or do us three think that Stussy's bite on Lucci will play a role later on? Like, will it affect his behavior, or will Oda be like, he's got this poison in him or something like that? I think that would be interesting.
Already has. Maybe that's why he's acting human for once.
Yeah.
A bite that instead of turning you into a monster like the standard vampire myth makes you human.
We kind of see that with Big Mom on like in the SBS, we see this picture with Big Mom where she's got 3 different names and 3 different ages, 3 different pictures. And when she's Charlotte Linlin is when she's on Rock's crew, right? And like people think that Rock's has ties to the Yami. So it's kind of like when your fruit it doesn't have an effect on you, you can be free, kind of. So I think that might be the case with Lucci. Maybe his fruit is just too much for him.
No, I guess I'm gonna be like the boiled egg in the bunch, or the dozen. With her biting Lucci and Kaku, and I don't know the mechanics of it. Why it's weird. I don't think it's the bite that does it. She's wearing Seastone lipstick. So maybe because of the lipstick coming in contact with them and Seastone having the effect of nullifying.
How is she not affected by that?
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why it's weird. And that's why I'm kind of like, I wonder how unique is her fruit? Or is her fruit different? Because a lot of people have been saying, which this may not be true based on how One Piece has been run, but there is a video game for the Nintendo 3DS called One Piece Unlimited World Red. In that video game, we have an antagonist called Patrick Redfield. He eats the fruit known as the Bat Fruit Model Vampire, which is a mythical zone. We actually see what the fruit looks like, and we see what he looks like once he transforms into a vampire bat. So because there has been a mythical bat fruit in the not in the narrative, but in the franchise already.
In the greater canon.
Right. In the greater canon, it probably won't make it to the main canon because that's how things have gone. So far, there's only been one fruit that's made the jump from video game into anime, and that anime was a filler episode, and that has been the mini fruit. The mini fruit was in a video game, I think, for the GBA, and a giant ate that fruit, and he could shrink down to like the size of a human or smaller. And then in an anime filler, I think before Film Z came out, there was a woman named Lily in Stomach. She was also a giant, and she had eaten the same fruit. That's how far things have gone. They've only gone from
she fought with a fork, and it was awesome.
It was awesome. She was a great character. I like her a lot. But my point is that the likelihood of the situation is that Stussy does not have the Bat Fruit Metal Vampire, but what she could have is this very unique fruit that we see in the Mads cover story of chapter 1072. The reason why this fruit is unique is because it looks like an artificial Zoan fruit. It has like the weird circles on it, but then it has the swirly stem of a normal dough fruit. This is the only dough fruit in the series that looks like this. So that could be. Okay, go on. Sorry. Okay, my
I was just saying that's interesting. I brought my homework. I can go off if that's all right. Like if I'm allowed. I think like the actual theme of vampirism is probably one of the most in the community, particularly the theory community, probably one of the most underlooked themes. And stuff you say about it being in the game to me is very spicy because, as a creator, I'm quite critical about some stuff, but with One Piece, the filler just seems to always come back up in the main story, and we see stuff like Mihawk, right? Dracula Mihawk, which is clearly a reference to Dracula. Like Gloom Island. Jackie's 66, I think, but she looks very young. She's drawn in a particular way. And then Mihawk has a connection to Perona. Perona's name was, pretty mundane until then we got Emu Neurona. And we know that Mihawk, has the same eyes and stuff like that. So I just think like with this whole Lily thing, and now we see the painting, there is some sort of something going on with like a theme of like sucking out life force between a woman and a man or between two people. So I think Stussy's ability, I think we will get a little more on it, a little more exposition, just because it is kind of thematically important, I believe.
And I agree. Nice. It's interesting too. And no one said, I looked around and no one said this before, but okay, the animal, the vampire bat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the actual animal. It has the ability to sense in infrared. Why is this important? In the anime, when the scene is animated of which she bites Lucy and Kaku, she has infrared vision.
Interesting. And not the same vision as like a PX, but something different.
Yeah, she sees heat signatures.
Interesting.
So that's why go on.
There's some other weird stuff in One Piece that I thought it might connect to the bat mail and stuff. Like, how there's Big News Morgan and his bird mail. Like, there's also been bat mail since I think chapter 1 of the series, and a few other like weird, just vampirical bat references that just have never been brought up. So, I mean, maybe it goes back to Bakken. Maybe, pardon the pun, but yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe
but it does seem like
has the devil fruit, and she just has the memory of the devil fruit.
Maybe.
Because, I don't think that it's a devil fruit. I think at most it would be something closer to I don't know, like Monet. Like we get introduced to Caesar, and Caesar has a half-bird woman on his crew. What if Vegapunk's kind of the same way, but he just did a better job of perfectly harmonizing two creatures together into one being, or something
kind of
along
what
those lines.
He's about, really, yeah.
Because the reason why Monet is a harpy is because of law.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
But still, that was kind of Caesar's entire presence, I guess. His entire theme.
True. Was
trying to create animal human hybrids through the Smile, through the Brownbeard Pirates, through Monet, all that kind of stuff, right? Like that's all tied back to Caesar Clown.
Exactly.
As a man who was the apprentice to Vegapunk and is always trying to chase that white whale that is being as good as this guy. So I could definitely see Vegapunk perfectly synthesizing a creature like that, and Caesar Punk wanting to go, I want to do that.
And it's funny.
I think it would. Sorry, Polly, you carry on.
No, you go on. Then.
I was just going to quickly say, I think evidence for that is definitely in the interaction happens between Stussy and Lucci. And when you think about Lucci, he goes there to Egghead. He's explicitly told, "Do not do this." And as soon as he sees Luffy, he reacts and does it. So it's like he doesn't have agency when Stussy. And he's human, whereas Stussy is non-human, but does have agency. It's like a poetic contrast between the two. It ends up being her that bites him through her loyalty and allegiance, knowing that the consequences will be catastrophic for her.
That's a very good point. Also, Zakk, it's very funny that you bring Caesar Clown up. Remember that devil fruit I talked about?
Mm-hmm.
Caesar Clown's the one holding that devil fruit.
True.
So... I think under Vegapunk, if this devil fruit, and the reason why I keep bringing up this particular devil fruit is because in that same chapter, Stussy is revealed to be a clone of Miss Bucking. She's the first clone in human history, I guess, or at least One Piece history. And that's the same chapter that she's revealed to have bat wings and have all these particular like vampiric or vampire bat like powers.
Oh.
And this cover story appears in that chapter. So I think if maybe Caesar Clown may have been better under Vegapunk because you had a superior mind like checking your homework in that way.
He was guided.
Yeah, he was guided.
These were at least like the cover story. I'd say it kind of shows that like this is all the prep that has led to this point. Like, yes. It's kind of like the 5 members of MADS found the lineage factor or the blueprints of life on the ship, and then each of them made their own version of clones, right? They each had their own version. So, and then back in we didn't have one for, and now we have Stussy. So yeah, I think it's. And I did not. I completely forgot it was the fruit. That is a spicy spot about that cover page, man.
Thank you. And I've been obsessed with her lately, and I made 2 videos back to back about this. Because I like her character a lot. I think there's a lot going on. I've attributed a lot of the carrot thoughts, which that agenda's dead. R.I.P. boys.
Every night I weep for what could have been.
Yeah.
But I attribute a lot of
that. That meme of Wolverine when he's laying in bed stroking the picture.
Absolutely.
Indeed. But like I attributed all the thoughts I had about Carrot, like being on lookout and all that, they kind of blend into Stussy. The more I think about it. Because I guess I'll just go and explain it. For you at home, watch that video. Watch it now. It's on the channel.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Polypedeworks.com/A@TM.
But it's funny because all these Straw Hats have sleep schedules, right? But if Stussy is a vampire bat, she would be a nocturnal creature, so that means she wouldn't have a sleep schedule, so she would be able to stay up through all times of the night. What's also interesting about this is that much like Carrot, she has a lot of sight-based abilities now, thanks to the anime, because like I mentioned before, she can see in infrared, and based on her being a spy and being a member of the underworld, she has intelligence and probably has eyes and ears around in multiple places. So in terms of a lookout or being a scout, she definitely fits the bill on top of having the ability to presumably fly. There's also a bit about how we haven't really gone into the underworld, like as a concept in One Piece. We've talked about it since Alabasta. It's been a thing, like with the dance powder and stuff.
Yeah, it's barely touched on, and like I'm not sure how he's going to do it because there's so many mysteries, like the Adam Tree wood that's in there. Like how does that happen on the black market? And yeah, so it's strange. The underworld is a sussy topic, and she's queen of the pleasure district or something,
right? Like, and then too, what does that mean? How does that work?
Yeah,
what is the pleasure district?
Yeah,
exactly?
Which district?
What you're asking for, yeah.
I mean, we know, but like
Yeah, where would the pleasure district in the Grand Line exist?
And then like
that's
yeah,
interesting question.
And now, due to her absence, who's in charge of that week? Because it feels, what it feels like to me, honestly? It feels like this is a reverse Robin situation. Because Robin has a lot of the same story beats. But it's if we're getting Baroque works in the latter half of it instead of in the forefront. Because the Pleasure District would be her Baroque works. In terms of
it's also a reverse Robin in the fact that Robin was good and this is bad.
I wonder if she is a vampire, how does she like dress so fly every morning? Because you can't see their reflections, right? But she's always in some like proper bougie swag.
You're asking why a flying creature can't be fly?
Wow.
We've heard about the 5 mythical flying devil fruits, but have we heard about the 5 mythical flying devil fruits?
Behold. Yeah, it's true.
So that would be Stussy. That would be the jacket, definitely. Kinemon,
yeah.
clothes fruit.
Oh, that's true. Clothes fruit. Yeah.
Anyway.
But okay, I'll move the conversation on. We've gone on long enough about this Batwoman.
I mean, there's a lot. I'm just horrifically sad that
to be honest,
she wasn't a quadruple agent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's confusing. Not many people have covered her that much because I think they're just kind of getting lost in their source. You know, like you say, there's so many double crosses going on.
But here we focus on Stussy, and I put in my bid already because of all the money I've made from this Bonnie extravaganza. We're going to go for double.
You're investing in Stussy coin.
I'm investing in Batgirl coin. Yes, I am. I'll be investing in fish coin next, only to crash the market. But anyway.
Original coin.
Original coin. Yeah, So
before we move on,
yes,
we forgot something very important.
We
forgot our weekly Yamato, baby!
Yes. Racism is happening.
I love it. The moment she gets out of the flower capital.
Good.
She is being stoned to death by the inhabitants of Wano.
Good. That should happen. Like, you're awful. You have horns like that big guy. You're terrible. You are also big.
She is being stoned to death by her future 9 scabbards. I can't wait.
Good.
I think you might be onto something with the fact that there might be her future retainers or scabbards or something. But
oh yeah, that's definitely going to be like the heart and soul of this entire thing.
Yeah, it's how they spoke about the previous. It's how they spoke about Shaki and Oriosis for leaving the island, for leaving Amazon Schmilly. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then too, it's like doubly interesting because she is the guardian deity of Wano with her fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no, we stoned our local deity. We are sorry, Yamato Senpai.
They realized they were throwing rocks at a cute dog, and they'd be like, "Aw." Then she's gonna hit a boar really hard over the head.
Oh, I hope the baby has grown up. The little baby boar.
I want. That's the one thing I want out of this is Yamato fighting the Lord of the Mountain 2.
Yes.
The Game Bowl, but yeah, the One Piece version.
Exactly. I'm excited. I'm glad though there are consequences because it's weird that there wouldn't be for her.
There's a lot of There's a lot of stuff to carry on, like to cover with Yamato, right? So I think it's only right we start with a massive, super spicy cover story, and maybe even see a bit of Blackbeard rock up in Wano.
Could be, yeah.
In there,
because the what's an interesting implication now is that he too has a large woman in his cabinet who has a mythical dog fruit.
True.
So,
not to be sizist.
What?
Not to discriminate against size.
Oh no, not at all. They're just both very tall.
Yeah,
Yamato's like what, 8 feet or something. But anyway,
I think it might even be taller than that.
Oh my god! I don't know how tall Devon is. Devon. Is it Devon or Devon?
I say a bit Devon.
All right.
Yeah.
I said because it sounds more feminine, like Devon. It sounds classy.
Yeah. yeah. It sounds like I'm more cultured.
And it's funny too how she dresses like Blackbeard, like in the extravagant piratey way.
I think she's a fascinating character, man. The Crescent Moon.
Right?
The Crescent Moon that turns up at the same time as the rest of the planets aligning on Egghead.
Oh, true.
And yeah, I'm still convinced that she was there to steal Luffy's heartbeat. Like Blackbeard had touched Luffy and didn't tell her why, and she took the Gorosei by accident and was kind of really rained on his parade.
I find it fascinating too that her power is like a definitely better version than the clone fruit.
Especially
seeing as how
he sought that power out. You know?
Oh wait, what? It did.
Blackbeard like sought that power out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he did. He sought out the dog from Ninetale. Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Which that makes Blackbeard even more interesting because it takes a certain kind of man to then seek out the clear fruit and to give it to his local psychopath.
Like as your right hand, like that is so dangerous to the self, you know.
Yeah, and it's funny because he knows that Shiryu is so dumb that he can't really use the ability properly because his bloodlust is too much. We see when he Moria touches down on Egghead, not on Egghead, on Hachinosu, he immediately goes for Moria. Like he cuts him in the back. He cuts down the zombies. He cuts his back. So I just find that funny about him. But and he's actually effective against Garp too because he stabs Garp right through the gut.
Yeah. Interesting.
I was gone for a moment. We talk about Shiryu.
Yeah,
my man.
I think it's possible that this might seem a bit like a hot take, but it might have been him that said to Who's Who about the Nika tale in Impel Down. If you remember that whole backstory.
No, you're right.
I would think that it would be like Blackbeard or something like that. Like, how many people at Impel Down would even know about like slave lore?
But
not many, I don't think. Not in that vicinity.
But I see where you're coming from, Din Din, because it's like how Luffy and Zoro parallel a little bit in like their terms of mentality. It would only make sense for Shiryu and Teach to parallel. Like maybe like Teach is the historian, right? That's why they don't really need a Robin because he's the guy who reads the books. So it would make sense if like Shiryu, in being a member of the world government in a way, and being was he the vice warden or just the dual warden? He was the warden. He was the warden. Okay. So in being the warden, he might have heard rumor of these things for being the warden for so many years because we don't know how long he was the warden.
That is very true.
Yeah, we don't really know why he isn't the warden anymore as well. Just, he was just kind of demonized and stuff. So, there's definitely some strands there, particularly.
And I mean, since he was more violent than Magellan, which is kind of wild, it wouldn't be a surprise to me that he and his daily bloodbath of killing 100 prisoners. One of them says, "Nika, save me," and he says, "Wait, talk. What's that?"
Yeah. Trust. Like particularly in his position, and I don't know. There might be more to Impel Down. Like I don't personally think there's a poneglyph in Impel Down, but Pa is died. He died on that hill and stuff like that. So they're and it's built underwater. So there is some true history probably in there somewhere. It might even be the reason why Blackbeard would want Shiryu on his team to begin with. We know that Blackbeard went to Drum Island, and Drum is now relevant through Drums of Liberation, and the Hito's Nomi seem even more significant, and that was on Drum. So Blackbeard definitely would have reason, Shiryu's got reason to be valuable, and Blackbeard's got reason to recruit him. In my opinion.
I know that makes a lot of sense. Also, I kind of wonder, getting back to Devon, what was her life before Impel Down? Like, what made her such an infamous pirate?
Yeah, interesting. She was drawn as a child, I believe.
Oh, I don't know that one. I have to look that up. Was she?
No, I think she was, but I don't think we've seen anything other than that of her being young.
It's like she's because the original cabinet, and we've gone off on a tangent. We'll get back to it though, but it's interesting because the original cabinet of the Blackbeard pirates, other than Blackbeard himself, don't seem super interesting other than Lafitte, because we know he was a police officer.
Yeah.
But I do think it's noticeable. Like, it's not just coincidence, I doubt. This crew seem to just be missing lore, like, so much.
Yeah.
And as theorists, you know just as well as anyone that, like, if you go down something like, say, Kuina and Toshigi or something like that, it just rains all these crazy connections. But with the Blackbeard crew, it just seems to get harder and harder. Even with the God Valley little reveal and stuff, we've just had nothing. Like even between him and Zabek,
right?
It's all very still nothing concrete, which is frustrating.
But I did misspeak though. Doc Q had the highest of the original cabinet, which of course like parallels to Chopper because he has the lowest and they're both doctors. But yeah, like what's Doc Q's deal? Because he was, if I remember, he was either 61 or 72. I forgot his original bounty, but that makes him like one of the highest bounties for a starting member, I think.
It's got to be, man. It's got to be, and you know, when you look at his like his characterization, he's what is he? Something like 27, but he looks really old and looks like a perfect combination of Kureha and Doc Q and Hiruluk. And they call Hiruluk the Quack Doctor, right? So it's probably like his real name is Quack, and it's not actually an epithet, and then that's why Doc Q's called Doc Q because he'll be the son, and he'll be called Doc Quack. And you know we know Hiruluk's got. Yeah, we know we got Hiruluk's got ties to West Blue and stuff. So I do think, you know, and then with Hiruluk, we know Sickness and Chopper, who's like the adoptive son, he's like a doctor. We know there has to be some relationship there. Like in the future, Oda's got a touch on Doc Q and Chopper's, you know, one being a sickness person, the other being a doctor. It just seems like fitting in their matchups. Their matchups might be what reveal their lore, you know?
Yeah. Maybe Hiruluk's mysterious disease came from a very specific fruit. And by seeing the trees of the Sakura trees, unlocked some sort of hockey that maybe undid that fruit's power?
That's possible.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
If we wanna like tie all this nonsense together.
I mean, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, you could say that, you know, Hiruluk saw something in the West Blue, and we know it was the same year that the God Valley incident happened. Yeah. And whatever happened to Zabek absolutely obliterated him from the history and stuff like that. And suddenly Hiruluk's cured. And then what does Hiruluk go and do? He goes up to the top of the drum and blows himself up. So, yeah, there's a lot of weird connections between Hiruluk and this cool little mysteries and lore.
Speaking about drum, I don't know if you've covered this, Den, but I've been covering the castings for the One Piece live action season 2.
Whoa.
And I have to say, I know his last name is Colette. I forgot his first name. I apologize to you, sir. They're gonna make you do some weird stuff. The guy who's playing Wapple.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you've heard the word on the street is that it was Hidden Island because they look quite similar. But,
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, snap!
Like a younger.
Oh, sorry. Go on. I interrupted you.
Nothing.
Oh, what?
Nothing. I was just correcting what I misspoke, so I was just correcting it. But yeah, the live action dude, like the Drum Island on the live action. Woo! That's gonna be crazy.
This man,
if they get Chopper right. Oh.
Yeah, Chopper's the big fear.
Yeah, I sweat at night over that stuff.
Because first of all, it's going to be funny to see a man eat himself live on Netflix. Because that's what Wapple does. He eats himself.
I hope they have it.
Wapple. Dude, we were saying about the transformation, like when Wapple turns into the the three characters, the chess, like what is it, Marimbo, someone else.
Yeah.
And then they turn into like Megazord or something.
Which could be easy to do if you just get a big enough horse costume.
Yeah.
Because they don't actually combine. They just are stacked on top of each other and their outfits combine. And they basically, quote unquote, fight as one. It's a great gag.
We have never seen them again.
True.
What if that... Ooh... I don't want to think about that.
That didn't do nothing to them. They're too busy on the Evil Kingdom living it up, man.
I hope so.
Black Drum Kingdom. Interested, Labe?
It is, and an interesting outfit change, but that will be for another video.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But yeah, I'm excited for One Piece live action, and they've been doing a bang up job with the casting. So I just hope that one drawing that Oda did of a realistic Chopper isn't true.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
I want Chopper to be horrifying to look at. I want to be disgusted every time I see a single devil fruit power.
Well, that Netflix stock to drop. Yeah. That'll be satisfying.
Oh Lord. Because
I want to be disgusted by Chopper.
Because Drum is,
Like
I think it's. Go on. Sorry.
No, that's it.
Like, what you were saying, Din? My bad.
Oh, no. Carry on, please.
I think Drum is where the series starts to get actually really weird. Because, okay, that's where Zoans are introduced. And Dalton's not too weird. Chopper's weird. And then Wobble is... Super eating isn't a weird power.
But he uses it in very weird ways.
He is disgusting. I love him so much because he's so gross. He opens by eating a knife, which is not weird at all. Then he just eats half the Mary. He eats half the Mary side, rather. And then he goes to eat Luffy himself. I'm like, oh, just casual cannibalism. Excellent.
The moment he eats himself, it's over.
Yeah, no, it's over.
The moment he eats himself and they recast him into Benedict Cumberbatch or something.
Yo!
That's an easy solution. It's like Luffy goes gear second and turns into Nick Cage or something like that. It's like, oh, okay. I'm still holding out for Danny DeVito as Chopper. That's been my OG pick from as soon as the live action was announced.
They called me a monster, so I live on this castle.
So I started shooting.
Drugs, that is.
So anyway, I started using Brain Point. Luckily, I brought my Rumble Balls. I would love it.
Yeah, man. That was a good Space Jam, Danny DeVito, man. That was a good one.
Good show. This is a good show.
But speaking back to the chapter.
Luffy gets attacked by Moltres.
Yes.
And it burns him real bad.
I need to mention something about this because this is one of the most pivotal moments of the entire series. Regular Nika, easy. Unbelievably simple to take care of. But if we go from Luffy being hit by this one fire blast, obviously that's not going to do too much. We know he could take a Boro breath. That can melt mountains.
Right.
This is not going to do that much. We know he can withstand something like this. But look at the next panel with Luffy, where he looks so monstrous and angry and hideous as he's grabbing. What do you notice on this?
This
is the return of a long-time fan favorite character. Regular Nika cannot possibly defeat a Gorosei. But if we combine the ridiculousness of Nika with the absolute jaw-dropping, earth-shattering, unbelievable power of Afro Luffy, we can do anything!
True. Oh, that's right, because his hair gets burnt out. True, Zakk. W-Mans. True.
Yeah.
I have waited 700 chapters for this gag to come back.
It is eerie. The amount of Afro stuff that just doesn't stop popping up. Exactly. I saw a couple days ago. I saw a first edition of Volume 1 of One Piece, and it's just Oda writing loads of stuff about him having a different version of himself called Afro Oda Sensei and all this stuff. And I was just like, Christ, we're actually Afro Piece is completely real.
It is. Shout out to Daxaki.
There's nothing mythical about that zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this because you see how frightening he is from the villain's POV. Kind of like in the anime with that Lucy versus Luffy fight recently. He
just keeps standing back up, dude.
It's so It's terrifying. It's actually terrifying. I love this shot. I love it. And so moving on though, a couple of things. Frankie has hockey, Bonnie has hockey. Nope, no argument. No.
Oh yeah, easy.
Oh my days. I popped off so hard when I read this. And I did the funny echo thing you like, Zakk, in the video.
You're a Frankie never ends voice.
Never ends. The fact that Bonnie can copy Elephant Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is no longer this big Nika punch that she did back in the pre-time skip. Well, her pre-time skip. This is now the evolved version in copying Elephant Gun. It's not a good Elephant Gun because the entire fist is not black. Well, the entire arm is not black. But the fact that she can do it, and we have had no indication that she can use hockey. This is her first time.
Yeah, I think it ties back into what we said about her being one of these special children. You know, like she can use hockey, she can use a fruit. She's kind of trained or consumed neither. So, yeah, very, very spicy, man.
I love it. And then now we have impactful strong right. So it's not confirmed that he's using hockey, but like, come on. Luffy says,
yeah, I mean,
go on.
I'm not leaving until he gets that purple fruit and we can all move on happily.
Because I can't see it any other way. Because why would he say you guys are using hockey? Because we know, like, if you have observation, you can tell who has hockey and who doesn't.
Yeah, we'll have to wait till Sunday because I mean, nowadays it's hard to tell. It could the official could say, Bonnie, you specifically used hockey and nobody else did because stuff changes so much at the moment. But I don't know. It seems very relevant to me, and secondly, it seems like it's foreshadowing for something else that's coming up. Combination of powers, 3 powers, particularly, I think.
And also, a favorite of yours, Zakk, has come back. The concept of the team attack, which is fantastic. I love this.
Love it. Yeah.
And then
I like the concept of it. Is this the least funny Nika fight?
It's pretty serious, actually. Yeah. I do like that he gets that Mars gets gut checked. And it's a combination of Gum Gum, Thank You, Fire, and what we saw from Tank Man, which is why I love this, because Tank Man is back, baby. Oh,
it takes elements of everything that we love. Tank Man, team attacks, Afro Luffy.
Just good.
Yeah, the one page is just dripping with spice. And we even got Pokemon in there, which is nice.
And most importantly, Frankie.
Oh.
Yes. Priorities.
It would be nice if another character had a team attack that was good and I didn't hate. Fastball Special is nice though, but
that was cool. Come on. Come on.
Whatever.
Although honestly, Sanji, did you have to use Diablo Jambe?
He said hit him as hard as
Did you have to use the blue fire for this?
Which is crazy. Also, this is also the moment.
My man learned nothing from Whole Cake. He is still hitting Luffy with his strongest attack.
One ear and out the other. No lessons learned. And if you scroll down and you see Bonnie there, this is the moment where she became the best female character in the series. Her eyes bug out of her head as she's reacting to Luffy in pain. No, best. Don't quote me. Best. Here's the weird part.
My man went so fast, he split the clouds, dude.
I love it. Team, like Din said, we get that Pokemon reference. Team Rocket is blasting off again.
Although he clashed with Luffy and I don't see any lightning, we're going to have to adjust his Wikipedia page because he doesn't have copyright.
Bruh, shout out to the people on TikTok. Some of y'all are toxic.
Yeah.
I can't, bruh.
Robot gets punched once. It's over. Waste of a character.
I have seen so many videos about hockey lightning and this and that. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, power scalers, they had to latch onto something to, once
They can't latch
ZKK
onto
thing
Zoro this
died
arc.
out. Yeah, exactly.
It's a travesty. Well, go on, Dindin. I'm sorry. Been interrupted.
Oh, no. I'm just looking at on the next page.
Mm-hmm.
I just, every time I've read this chapter, I can't not look at that Den and feel bad for it. It looks like he's had a long evening.
Oh, I know, bro. You sympathize with Snail being a snail persona yourself.
Exactly.
He did not bring dark enough sunglasses.
Yeah. Somewhat, he can't turn the light off. Them arms are tiny.
Also, this is where Atlas dies.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think it has to happen, right? Like York just seems so not York. Lilith just seems so perfect to be one of these, not Straw Hats, but Straw Hat companions, like we mentioned with Bonnie and Stussy. Everything about her characterization, the whole demonic vibes and stuff. Now there's two of them, and they're being chased after, and Oda's getting merciless with it. So we're going to see Atlas die, man. But she did say something real weird earlier on in the arc, where she said, "Oh yeah." They were like, "Oh, your face has been fixed," and she's like, "Oh yeah, we can change faces. As nobody ever told you that." And that to me is always stuck out as being weird. Like, I'm waiting for Shaka or something to happen with Atlas or Shaka, or some twist still to come.
Oda still hasn't fired the Chekhov's gun of holograms are real and you can interact with them with funny gloves. We still haven't fired that gun yet.
I need Frankie to fire that gun.
Because I'm thinking the photon gloves, right? Like someone's going to grab a laser or something.
Like, we already fought the Light Man. What else can we do with this?
Well, he's going to come back later. And by the looks of it, he might be a Frankie opponent.
Fair.
Because now,
I mean, it definitely sticks out. There's a few things in Egghead like that just stick out as needing resolution at some point, or else just pointless to include. Want it?
Yeah. But we have the return of Katakuri as the message comes back on. I like Moscato. I'm glad he's doing well, because we did see him at the end of a whole cake. So even after he got soul sucked, he got better. That's good. And we have Brownie, whom I think was the one experimenting on the Germa siblings, but he is very uninteresting. Brownie's the guy with the top hat.
A little bit sad.
Why so?
It means the cat is not out getting his sister back.
Yeah.
Katakuri's not out getting pudding. Big sad.
Maybe Smoothie is.
Yeah, that's pretty cold.
Maybe Smooth. Maybe Big Mom is. Who knows?
Yeah.
It is a good point, though. Katakuri is standing there quite leisurely. He definitely isn't in a rush.
And we can't even give him the excuse of, he fought Luffy. He's still tired. Because, in between then and now, Luffy has fought and killed Kaido.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been like 2 days or something.
You have had time.
I am sad he's not wearing the fedora. I thought he would.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Oh, or maybe he now puts it on for fights. Go on.
Let's stop beating around the bush. And I've been like, I can't hold it in much longer. Let's move to the bottom left panel of the page, man. Joy Boy himself and his girlfriend, Gaiman and Sarfunkel.
Gaiman and Sarfunkel.
Yes!
I was going to say, Joy Boy himself, York.
Gaiman and Sarfunkel, the best characters in the manga. I love them. How happy they are.
Yeah, it's just Sarfunkel is always so happy, dude.
The one thing that I wish was in this panel is a funny Den Mushi. Like a weird chimeric Den Mushi would be funny.
Yeah. Well, one with big human feet.
Well, he's got an afro, so maybe he can pick up signals on that.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. And York continues to be my favorite. I know. Oh man, Vexus hates Vexus hates York. I think she's a cutie patootie. I love her so much. It was so cute how she betrayed everyone and shot that one guy. Adorable.
I think more York in the story is beneficial for the story.
Because she gives agency, especially to her bosses who seem to be kind of stupid. A little bit.
York is the most interesting Vegapunk.
She is.
At least.
Because why does she...
Yeah, she's got the most going on.
Yeah.
Why does she think the way she does? Why was she given such a leisurely position, even though she has the same sort of mental capacity as the rest of them?
Mm-hmm.
It does seem kind of indicative of that position, like what happened, because, you know, this idea of consumption and greed and like people have been speculating for a long time about the jacket fruit. Like, how is that relevant? Why did Oda choose it? But it wouldn't surprise me if Desire makes devil fruits and, you know, desire becomes too much, desire turns into greed, and that's how you might get something like the jacket fruit. And I don't know, it does seem it's probably clutching a little bit, but York's, the fact that she's so gluttonous, you know, it does seem indicative in a character, like I say, to be greedy like the Celestials, or like the people above the Celestials.
Put on a jacket of the evil Vegapunk who had green blood in the jacket fruit.
Oh Lord, Zakk.
Yeah. To roll up these sleeves.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But anyway,
yeah.
Will of D. They're mentioning. I love the fact that they're like, anyone with a D in their initial cuts out. There's a Will of D. Thanks, Vegapunk. Really glad. I'm really glad that the thing that we're getting out of this is that the Will of D is real and it's important. Like, we didn't know that 800 chapters ago. Do you think that we're gonna get anything out of this?
There's gotta be some. We have to end on a dawn moment.
Are we gonna end on a dawn moment? What answer could he possibly give us? Or is it just gonna be more questions?
I hope not more. We're 1,000.
Lost.
I want one answer from Vegapunk. Good gosh, diddly dar dang it.
My birthday is on Tuesday or something like that. It's like, no.
And then York goes, but today was Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Kizaru. Oh, killed his best friend on his birthday. Oh, no.
Oh, savage.
And then we cut to the corpse of Shaka. For no reason. It's just he's just there.
It was also his birthday.
It just showed his head, like.
It just shows on his head. He's got a display that says "Day since last incident 0."
Yeah. 0.
But anyway, Worm is really funny.
He's the funniest.
But yeah, I like the robot is back up. That's cool.
Yeah.
I hope that this comes to more fruition. I hope that we get something out of this Vegapunk recording.
I hope.
But Worm is very funny.
I hope that the girls say lose to Seraphim. There is no way the world government's going to have that much power by the end of this. They need to lose. You already won by killing Vegapunk. You need to lose everything else.
Well, they already did what they were accomplishing. They killed Vegapunk and they disconnected the transmission before it could say something too stupid.
Right.
Introducing God's Knights just before their appearance and all this, though, is very interesting. It does imply that they're going to, recoup and they're going to have some sort of forces that we're yet to see. Because right now they're not getting bodied, but they're definitely not wiping the floor with just one.
The Marines need a win so badly.
So bad.
They have one in
surround
the entire
island.
Series.
Why? There's no need. Everyone escapes every time. Don't surround it,
Oh, shout out to Ghost in the chat. Hello, Ghost on TikTok.
Yo,
Ghost.
But yeah.
Into Jesus.
But yeah, I still think Jupiter is the odd man out, and he's an ancient Zoan.
Mm-hmm.
If they have Zoans, I
Definitely.
think
so.
Definitely. Like, Itsamade is drawn as a bird, not as a serpent, and I'm pretty sure that was intentional. Like the only serpent-esque Gorosei we see is Jupiter, and I'm still convinced that he's Lily's younger brother. Personally,
Ooh, that's a spicy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, sandworm. That would make sense.
Yeah, sandworm lives. That is so smart. That's
Wasn't
smart.
there a sandworm? Wasn't there a sandworm in Alabasta, or was that filler?
No, not.
They fought and cooked like a giant worm or something like that, or was it a lizard or something?
I think it's filler, but
a lizard is a lizard.
I think they did include it in the manga in the sense that like they included the whole hot springs and how there's all them tunnels underground in Alabasta that through the sand that go up to the hot springs. Yeah, there's a lot actually we could go into, but yeah, and I think each of the Gorosei are probably like scorned people. You know, Itsamade, as in Mars. We have the whole Kami thing with Ganfall. Kami was probably given to Ganfall as a position rather than Mars, which leaves Mars sort of bitter, and that's how Emu recruits these Gorosei members, I'm guessing. But anyway, back to the chapter. Apologies.
No, we're still talking about the chapter. Yeah. I mean, this is directly influencing everything because we're talking about Jupiter.
Yeah. Jupiter, as 3 says.
So, very smart of him to get his boys out of there. He seems to be the only one that actually cares about human life.
Which is interesting. And securing the assets.
Hilarious that he secured the assets and he did it in the most hilarious Gorosei way.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
Yeah.
It's funny because when the worm was first released, everyone was like June, and now no one cares about Jupiter's worm form. Bless him.
And the reason I say he might be an ancient Zoan because he has no abilities that are like super fantastical.
Yeah, so far he's just been sucking everything up. Pause. Literally, that's all he's done, right?
And then we'll see you later, Ghost. But yeah, and then he regenerates, which that's what worms do. So that's not too extravagant either.
Yeah, seems kind of indicative of a zone, like to do stuff like that.
Right. I do like that he has like a little helmet face. It's like he could, I guess, suck in his mouth and make a little X.
Yes. Yeah. The X is interesting as well, man. Like that comes up everywhere.
Especially seeing as how, oh yeah, right, because Jupiter does have a scar on his chest. So it's funny that the little X on his face also looks like a scar, even though I don't think it is. But yeah. And then 2, that's the point of power, so you could say X marks the spot.
Yeah, completely, dude. Completely. It's on Luffy's heart, right, on his chest.
True. Also that, yeah.
One thing I did want to ask as well while we're here, a few people mentioned about the Hoki jumping into the sea. Oh,
real quick, thank you for the Tiny Dinies Ghost on TikTok. Thank you for the Tiny Dinies. Go on. Sorry.
The Hoki. Yeah, thank you, Ghost. Hoki jumping at the Elbaf ship definitely shows, to me anyway, that he isn't afraid of falling in the sea, which is kind of interesting.
That's a good point. Oh, I wonder, does he have resistance? Now that you mention it. What'd you say?
I said there's a whole soundboard of noises that just came out of you then.
Oh. No, that's interesting though, because I wonder if he can evaporate water because he's so hot. Because yeah, he jumps right for it. So yeah, or is he so big that he floats?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to put money on a ball floating, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe when you're that powerful, you can just like jump out of the water or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or just turn it back into a Gorosei form and start swimming like Rayleigh.
Huh.
This suit.
That's such a good point, Din though. Because Wyatt, though, I mean, he could be sacrificial for the cause because it's better to kill Nika here than for him to escape.
He's not killing Nika though. He's just catching the ship
giant
from leaving. Right. He's just yeah.
Do they have an incentive to kill Bonnie? Now I think about it.
Well, that's definitely one of their priorities. They were saying, right, like to capture Bonnie. I'm a little bit confused as to what's going on, but on reread, I'm sure it'll make for a fat couple of volumes.
Yeah, and then too, when it gets animated, that'll be a bit more clear as to what's going on.
Oh my god, I'm not ready for that, dude. I'm not ready.
I'm excited.
Yet another anime Janny's moment.
Oh,
clean it up.
Yeah, that's true. Animators are the janitors of the One Piece. Yeah, they kind of are.
Yeah.
Like it just like a lot of the things that Oda does. Oda's got a lot of really big aspirations. He's got like he goes really far into what he's trying to convey, but a lot of what he's trying to do does not work in 2D.
Yeah,
at least not the way that he draws it.
And it's when people like read the series now and they're saying to me like, "Oh, I'm nearly caught up on this or that." Like I always recommend the color, man, because just any other medium that you can add to One Piece, like you say, it's so trans medium that like it's just cannot be conveyed in black and white into 2D. Yeah.
Also, shout out
and the anime is.
Go on.
Sorry.
No, go on.
Go on. Oh, I was just going to say the anime is absolutely packed with little details, whether or not it's sound, color, animation, movement, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with that.
But shout out to everyone who had the biggest hissy fit last week about Bonnie copying Gear 5th, because like many said, Luffy's stamina is kind of bad in Gear 5th, even though that doesn't really matter. But Bonnie's stamina was worse because we saw that when she turned giant. So how do you think that was going to turn out when she became Nika as well? Her stamina was going to be terrible. And we see that here because she has cute X's over her eyes and she's completely knocked out.
Yeah, I think stamina is probably it's probably a vague term in the sense because each gear seems to affect the user differently, and the Toshi like that connects to aging, right? So if you rather than run out of stamina, run out of lifespan, it might be that she can just top herself straight up with the Toshi number straight away and keep going. So I'm keen to see what different powers, how they vary with the Nika abilities and stuff like that.
Very fair. Also, not to backtrack too much, but I just wanted to point a little thing out that I found super interesting. It is, where is it? When Sanji's preparing Ifrit jumping, right? He says to Bonnie, "Captain's orders are absolute, Bonnie-chan."
Yeah.
So he's including her with the rest of the crew here.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's
I guess you could say that.
Let's see. Let me see. I wish I had a megaphone because pick up the phone. Guess who? I called it like a year ago. Oh, I'm so justified, bro. I'm so vindicated.
You best pick up that telephone.
Yeah, I think there's something in it for sure. I definitely think you could take that as a W.
I don't think she'll be the last one, though. The 10-member thing is still on the table.
All we have to do is roast one fish.
Let's hope no one gets hungry. Yeah.
Emergency food and emergency food.
I'm trying so hard to be good this episode because it's such an embarrassment.
He's not even in the chapter.
I know, and I can't do it when a company's over. It's so embarrassing. I can't. But I will say I want to see where like the crew dynamic is going. Like, when is it going to be like this is our definite cast? You know, like of the main cabinet, this is it. When is that? Because that's going to be a definite statement, I would think.
I would think that once we know every member of the crew, this is going to be the whole crew for now on for the rest of the series. Like, that's got to be like a dawn moment at least.
Right. Because like
some sort of gathering and some sort of like, you know, gathering of people, gathering of dreams, ideas, and just a statement. This is what we're doing. This is who we are.
And to what you have said in the past, Zakk, and I'll incorporate this. What I'm saying, there are already so many characters already that I don't think if we do go over 10, there'll be anyone else new. It's going to be people that we know already with established lore, because we already don't get enough screen time for the guys we already have. So it's
the Jinbei experiment has drastically failed. In terms of his screen time for Egghead.
The Jinbei, I can't start. I won't.
well, we could just end it at that.
Okay.
The man has not had enough screen time in his honeymoon arc,
which is it's the most baffling thing to me. Brooks was crazy because Brooke had an entire fight, and it was the first naval fight in the series. You remember that, Den?
Yeah. I was just thinking though, like Jinbei does have a shark in the arc.
Yeah. So we can replace
a little bit spice there.
That's what you're saying.
But yeah, like moving forward, if we get anybody else, like with Bonnie, for example, Bonnie's been here for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
In the series. So like, go on.
She's been here for more than 10 years, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
What's your body?
2011?
I'll just look up Jewelry Bonnie.
2011?
It's like 12 years, I think, that Oda waited.
Oh my, they made she is now.
Exactly. But yeah, I'll look this up. You guys can go on.
Okay, but
was her first appearance at the Reverie or Sabaody?
Sabaody, yeah.
Cool.
Sabaody. Because that's what
498.
Oh my goodness.
April 28th, 2008.
Yep.
Wow.
What is that? 16 years?
16 years.
Oda
I've
waited
developed
16 years
and grey hair since then. Like, Bonnie's super spicy. I don't. Are we closing up soon? Because if we're near the end, I will say it. But if we're not, I'll save it for the end.
We're almost done.
I think we're just about at the end of the chapter.
Yeah, we're just about at the end.
Okay.
You can pop off.
So what I was going to say, and we don't have to talk about it too much, but it's still a little up in the air about how Bonnie was portrayed before she was revealed to be a child. And I still feel a little like she's a great character. She's really cool.
Ain't no way this was planned in 2008.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely hope he doesn't carry on doing it or anything.
I hope Oda hasn't learned too much from his mentor.
Oh, exactly.
Don't.
That's all I'll say.
Because the problematic part is that based on how she's been portrayed so far and based on brand recognition of her character, the adult version is going to show up more than the baby version, which is confusing. I mean, that's going to happen. I'm not saying that to be weird or controversial or anything. The adult version is going to be on screen most of the time, which is weird.
Yeah. And
go on.
And it's all about, like, again, I don't want to go down this too much, but if one happened to go back through the arc and pay attention to all the shots of Bonnie, every single panel she's in, her legs, she's crouched down or stood up with her legs, like her knees spread open. So there's definitely I'd like to believe that it was, a red herring. Let's put it that way. And if he just doesn't do any of that anymore, then I'll be like, oh yeah, he was just saying that she was older and it was to trick us and stuff like that. But yeah, her fruit is
she's too flippant because of her age.
Her age.
I would rather it be ambiguous because Toei has not helped. If you've been keeping up with anime,
oh god, no.
Toei has been worse than the manga, and I don't feel good about it. I'll just say that. I don't. That's why I'm glad Stussy is here for a bit of a palate cleanser, so I don't have to think about it too much.
Her being like 80 years old kind of reverses it, right? Like it kind of balances everything out.
Well, I don't know. Clones age faster.
Wow, that's true.
Okay, robot punches Pumbaa. Whoa. Yeah.
Robot stronger than Kato confirmed. Kato is a fraud confirmed. Wano worst arc in One Piece confirmed.
Yeah, man. The agendas are all coming through.
Yes, ZKK coming through hot.
Pumbaa wasn't even using hockey at the time, and he was taken off guard, and the sun was in his eyes, and, well,
That's a false horn,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. That horn was a hologram, and the robot has robot hologram gloves. And that's why.
He's not your ordinary giant, man. He's not your ordinary giant. This guy, he's been swimming at the bottom of the ocean like multiple occasions, still gets up.
Of course.
He's got the miles.
He's covered in seawater, so that caused the devil fruit to deactivate in that one spot. So, of course.
Yeah. Oda, 5 head on Egghead.
Head bigger than Vegapunk's.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say this chapter has a distinct lack of bluegrass, so it's bad and poopy, and I don't like it. That's the most problematic thing about One Piece right now. Lack of bluegrass.
I love bluegrass, and I'm talking about the character, not the... but yeah, bluegrass is cool, and we did get Dolo, and Dolo was drawn kind of weird, so interesting.
Yeah, because Dolo's still like weird goth.
Baby bluegrass is like pure soul. I love her.
Very funny. But
right.
Go on.
In break next week now.
Yep, break. So that sucks, but for 120, something will happen, maybe.
Vegapunk will say something.
Vegapunk will say words, and words will be said. Yeah. Money, please.
I do like Luffy's reactions to the robot. Classic One Piece, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. It is definitely racking up to be a sick arc. Please give me some Frankie, give me some Jinbei, give me a bit of Zoro, just a little more a little Stussy, a little Shaka. Definitely, I refuse. If this is the end of Shaka, he's the worst character in this story. Yeah, he's done nothing. It's
nothing.
So tragic. Yeah,
like the whole thing about
the Shaka hate.
The whole thing about Egghead is that Egghead, if we're just talking like beat by beat, story-wise, by the story, by the lore, everything in Egghead is turning out to be amazing. I love Egghead. Egghead is a very, very good arc. Especially coming out of Wano. Egghead is a very good arc. Yeah. And I want to preface that because it is desperately missing character.
It's frustratingly missing character. It's the fact that we had a shadow that just comes and turns off the cameras, and then that's all we ever hear about it. Like, we need the whole York reveal. It needs more. Just give me a bit more substance, even if it's a reveal at the end, so that when I reread it, I can be like, oh, wow, look at that, look at that.
Give me some Usopp and Nami banter. Is that too much to ask?
Give me some Jinbei banter because I'm kind of on my warpath.
For the love of God.
Because, I want to be, what, Zakk? We talk about this a lot. I want to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. But you're making it really hard for me to be wrong because I've been right for about as much time as I've been reading this book.
Could you imagine how funny the conversations between Jinbei and Brook could be?
Yeah, because
just two old dudes.
They have the same background.
Who have the same background, have been on the sea for a very long time. Just two old bros vibing and gelling together. One of which is stoic, the other of which is hilarious and silly.
I would love to see their little sitcom spin-off as well in that kind of vein, but with the Gorosei. Like the Gorosei, as they were flying through the sky to Egghead, what would they chat about, Like, I can see my house from here, or...
Like, I reread old arcs every once in a while, right? And that is one thing that those arcs have in spades that the new arc, something like Egghead just doesn't have. They have like these little moments of characters just talking to each other, man.
Mm-hmm.
We have moments
of booger picking.
Like Thriller Bark was like a huge eye opener for that, because Thriller Bark is just that ad nauseum. It never stops. It's amazing. Like, we have the Coward Trio exploring Thriller Bark, and then we have the strong members of the crew going through these same things and having it be the gag of that difference between how they handle it. It's so funny. It's amazing.
Like Drum, Skypiea, if you read them, so rich, whereas Egghead's more like a feast for the eyes in terms of anime, you know?
Yeah. It's like we got Kuma and good lore.
Yeah.
We got Buccaneers, good lore. We got funny technology, good lore. The Vegapunks, almost good characters, but good lore.
Yeah, funny baby piece is good.
Yes.
Bonnie has saved a lot of the Nika stuff, which is great. I like
There's good gags, but where are my characters, man?
Where are my characters? Because the funniest thing that I can't forget, and I love to go back to, is that throughout the story of One Piece, the relationship between Usopp and Robin is a gold mine.
Yes,
like in Sabaody, how she touches the grass of Sabaody and finds it has like soap sap on it. She then wipes it on Usopp's pants because it's disgusting. That's great.
Like we haven't had that secret sauce since Luffy and Bonnie were eating at the start of the arc, man.
It hasn't been that way.
I think you could probably go back into the beginning of Wano. Like Wano is just, you know, this ever since 1044, this change of pace and it's pretty scary and worrying. And like seeing Yamato in the cover stories, that I'm not going to lie, it's very expected, but it's also kind of worrying too, because that, you know, Odin's journey relived should really be in some sort of side story or something like that, rather than just a cover story. Like, what else is he not going to be able to
I think
include?
a cover story is kind of perfect for that. I think the problem is the timing.
And the pace.
Because usually, like, we knocked Buggy into the stratosphere. We didn't start Buggy's bombastic adventure. We didn't start that in Arlong Park, I don't think.
That's exactly what I mean. Exactly. It worries me how that is being done right now. It's like, rather than having the rich cover story of like you say with Buggies, which is kind of symbolic and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Instead, we've got this more direct kids throwing stones at Yamato and stuff like that. And I really hope it's not a sign that he's going to have to rush some information.
And like we got the stuff with like Egghead, or I mean, this really started with Whole Cake.
Yeah.
Whole Cake ended immediately afterwards. Caesar Cloud's getting off Whole Cake.
Yeah, because then we got the Germa stuff, which, like, my thing is, like, a lot of these conclude, like Neomass, for example. That needs to, I want things to go somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And that may be too critical. Like, I want there to be some answers so we can slow down a little bit, because it feels like things are kind of breakneck pace right now. And even with the Yamato thing, I'm like, okay, you're dragging your feet in some parts, but in other parts, it's going way too fast, and I need the point so we can like kind of slow things back down to how things were.
Yeah, and feel some of the payoff of this combat and stuff like that. Like when I picture that scene at the end of Wano where they're all sat in that room and Robin's like, oh, by the way, Pluton's downstairs. And Frankie's like, what? And Luffy's like, I don't care. Them scenes are so refreshing. Like you say, they're so light, and like not the speed just completely stops, and we get to actually be with the Straw Hats or on the ship. Like when Luffy said about what his dream was going to be, you know, I definitely agree that we could do with some of that, just chitter chatter and sort of minor mysteries rather than flipping true history, intense, bam, bam, bam. Here's a new giant. Here's a new Gorosei member's transformation. Bah, 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 bah. His head's just exploded.
Because on that, Den, you're absolutely right. I think with Elbaf, okay, Elbaf needs to be that, and then I hope if Stussy does join, or if she becomes a major character, I hope we take a complete detour and talk about the underworld, and that too is just crime boss shenanigans, and we slow down the pace a lot. Because I think the reason why there's so much fatigue is because we're coming off of this right after Wano, and Wano was nothing but lore.
I would like to say I did get something wrong. Buggy's Bombastic Adventure did start halfway through Syrup Village. It started pretty much immediately.
That's fair.
So Oda does have a tendency to do that.
Fair.
I have a feeling that we just feel it stronger with this because we spent so long in Wano, man. Like the arcs are so much longer now. And then we feel fatigue. We feel Wano fatigue because we were there for 4 years. And even when we're gone, it's never done.
Yeah, because we're right back with Yamato. And then too, like, I will cite a big difference. It's like going from Davy Backfight into Ennis Lobby. But Davy Backfight was fun. There were no stakes in Davy Backfight. Until like the end with the Kuzan. But you've had that levity, you had that talk, and you had Afro piece. You know?
Yeah, character, like style.
Yeah. And Foxy was intimidating, but he wasn't like a world breaker. Formidable, yes, but not like a boss.
Yeah, this is given more like Bleach vibes, like more like just clinical step-by-step progression for the characters and particularly for the narrative. So, yeah, but
it's
one thing
an avenue
that's kind
to
of
make
weird.
funny Nika memes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's worrying, the merch stuff, like in that direction. But yeah, I guess it is kind of interesting because Oda is a genius and Egghead is about clinical technology, you know, like this just non-spiritual stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe when we go to Elbath, it'll all be completely trippy and there'll be all these beautiful little details that are extra and rich and stuff. But
maybe
I'm kind of hungry for it.
Maybe Usopp will get to do anything other than react to crazy thing that's happening.
I mean, really, Luffy's the only one who's done anything character-wise, isn't he?
Oh.
It's just the Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji show. No one else is allowed to do anything.
Which, that's why I have my thoughts, because it's weird for Jinbei to be like number 3, apparently. That's what I'm getting from the bounties. It's weird that he's number 3, and yet he hasn't had, I can't even say in Wano, that much of a focus, because even like the Who's Who fight, who is Who's Who? And I know you love Who's Who, Din. I'm not crapping on him.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. He is like one of the most formidable beast pirates. I will say that he is the weirdest avenue to lore, but it's weird that we focused on him and not like Jack. Just how that was set up. Who's great.
I will say Who's Who is the best way that you could bring back Rob Lucci.
Yeah.
And then they brought back Rob Lucci.
Dude. Yeah, I'm completely convinced that him and Lucci got something going on. But no, I think that is a brilliant example, dude. Like just having the 3 main heads of the crew, and then suddenly who's like, oh, do you know Nika? It's like, dude, what the you know, like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, discombobulated, man. It's so like I remember getting so frustrated at Wano when I was reading it weekly a couple years back, just because it is just so hard to keep up with everything. But like I said earlier, when you reread some of this stuff in a volume, it can really hit differently. Like,
yeah.
And it's weird too because Jack, I mean, it's weird because Who's Who had so much detail because he has that cool Gao gun, or like Fang gun.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then you get to Jack. Jack doesn't even have any name techniques. He's just like a man.
Yeah, like there was so many theories about him, you know, because of him being so different from King and Queen.
He was the first billion berry pirate.
Yes, in the series, yes.
The first.
And turns out he's just a fool. Like,
and then I remember I think it was Roger's base and a whole bunch of other people. The cope was real because people could not believe that, like, especially after Whole Cake. Because even like Smoothie wasn't the most impressive, but she did at least a thing.
Yeah.
So you're coming off and saying like, well, if you're the 3rd in the organization, you at least have to be formidable. And then Jack gets bodied and bodied and bodied and bodied and bodied. And he has an ugly hybrid. He turns into an elephant centaur, and that's weird.
He has less of an impact on the arc that he's in than Hold'em.
Yeah.
Hold'em!
Yeah.
Whose entire purpose is to get red hawked.
Yeah. And he's more entertaining because Hold'em fought with his crouch the entire time he was out.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing, man?
Meanwhile, who's dropping lore. He's more interesting than Lucy in terms of a fight because the Fang gun is the best thing in the world.
During the O'Hara incident, we saw some of the Cypherpol members get off the boat, and 2 of them were revealed to be relatives of other Cypherpol members, and there was the 3rd who didn't get a name card, who looks identical to who's who. So, like, I don't like talking about it too much because I feel like I'm moaning or I'm jinxing it or something like that, but I really hope I just get like 1,000 little answers to all these little questions. It's wild.
Yeah. Like, I maintain I will never forgive Oda for Luffy's dream. I will never forgive him. This man came in and went, hey, remember that question that I put out there 700 chapters ago? Don't you want to know the answer? Well, his dream is...
Find out on next week's episode.
This is what drives me utterly bonkers about this series, man. Is that Oda has this way to just completely bafflingly flub when we know he can do better. I spent 2 years going, Carrot has got to be on that boat, right? Oda wouldn't forget to give her a panel to say goodbye.
I was a Carrot. Well, you know, Zakk, I was a Carrot boy too. I was in the paint for Carrot. So shout out to Mr. Bushido because I was in the trenches with you, dog. But then this last chapter came. I said, okay, we pivot to the bad girl.
Oda wouldn't just forget. There's no way after 7 years of having this character on our crew, we just wouldn't forget her, right?
The fact that Luffy says Pedro as he's knocking Kaido out, I'm like, that went nowhere. And then to even set Pedro up to even be slightly affiliated with Roger, the fact he even met Roger, you're talking about a Frankieism. That's a Frankie thing. Because Frankie met Roger and Odin. And so this character just doesn't matter. Okay. And his daughter doesn't matter by extension. Fine. We're all fools at the end, I guess. Thanks, Oda.
Johnny and Yosaku got more panels to say goodbye.
Yes, they did.
Than a character who was in the story for 7 years.
7 years?
Yeah, man.
7, dude.
And
300
Momo
chapters.
And Yuri. Momo and Yuri reunite after all them years. They're just like, oh, you're right. And then the story continues. And it's like,
well,
what?
We need 8 more chapters to say goodbye to Yamato before we do the Yamato covers.
Yeah.
Now, this Yamato, okay, I've made some investments in Yamato coin. This better pay off.
Oh my goodness gracious, man. Like,
do something.
Why? Just why? In so many words, why?
Because the amount of gas.
Why?
Of gas they put in this character.
The amount of gas that they have put into this character, and the room doesn't have air, man.
Meanwhile, I'm sorry to keep going on Jinbei. We're finishing up here. Sorry to keep you. But like,
no.
It's weird to me because like even during Wano, it's so puzzling that you sit down at Fishman Island and tell me that Fishman Karate can go through someone like Luffy. So it's a durability negability, right? It can go through durability. And that's the whole point of fighting Kaido, is to go through his durability. And Jinbei's not on the roof fighting Kaido.
I don't care about Jinbei. Where's Beppo?
What? Yeah.
I mean, Qui-Gon said there's always a bigger fish, right? So Jinbei might have been like, I'm not going up there and fighting that huge dragon sea creature.
Yeah, because he was the bigger fish.
No, I think the Jinbei thing's a bit of a dilemma almost. It's nice. Like, do not get me wrong, I'm a massive fan. It's nice to be like, oh, it'd be cool to have this many crew members. But when it comes to practicality and stuff, to actually fit all that in is just, Jinbei is the least straw hat, and that makes me feel awful saying it, but someone's got to be, I guess.
Oh, don't feel awful. I said every week.
You would think that Jinbei would be on the roof if we had to have Big Mom and Wano.
Yeah.
Like, Jinbei has beef with one of the people they're fighting. More so than any other character on the crew. Right?
Yeah. That is his white whale. And it's weird to me too. And then, there will be a big movie about this on the channel. I say it every time. But it's weird too that out of all the warlords, right? All the original warlords, all of them have their stuff together. They have criminal organizations, or they have done so much for their people. When we get to Sabaody Archipelago, there is slavery. When we talk about Hachi's cover story, there is slavery going on being conducted by former Sun Pirates. You are a failure, Jinbei. What have you done?
And we could have brought it all together. We could have had a culmination of this character if he had just reacted to S-Shark.
A human...
Maybe it's a message about fish, and maybe Oda doesn't like fish and people. Fish people, man.
Could you consider this fact? You have this organization that spans the entire world, a world government that controls everything. Your entire purpose in the story is to confront their oppression of your people. And then you see a thing that is you, specifically designed to serve the slavers of your people.
Just like the Pacifista. That is what Oda was going for with the Pacifista. So the fact that you bring it up, makes me think you missed the trick
Seraphim,
of that with Jinbei.
Jinbei having a Seraphim there should be something. They made a clone of me. They cloned me. I have a clone of myself created against my will, without my permission, specifically designed to put my people into servitude.
And
I kind of get the impression, Zakk, that this happened to you once.
Yeah. I'd rather not go into my deep and dark backstory.
But no, I agree. It's
like he doesn't have a single... He doesn't have a single reaction to that. You're not even going to be like, that's a little weird. He just looks at it and goes, isn't technology something? What? What?
My old Captain Fisher Tiger would love this.
Yeah, could you imagine if Fisher Tiger saw a clone of himself?
Not only that, the icing on the cake is that we all know that fighting styles are important to cultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, not only are you the Mihawk of Fishman Karate, all of that gets copied. This whole fighting style that represents you as a people gets copied and then made better and perverted through artificial means, because now he has the swim fruit. S-Shark does. So not only is he a master of Fishman Karate, he can use it better than Jinbei. Because everything's water now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've completely missed this. This is fascinating because, like, I remember reading it at the time and hoping for something with Frankie because I'd seen the spoilers.
Yeah.
Frankie makes a little mention of it, but still, like, that's a big ball drop.
Literally, one of our Straw Hats have been cloned, dude.
A main character has been copied. His personal being has been perverted.
We made a bigger deal of it when another main character was copied.
Yeah, in
Last
Oars.
chapter.
Oh,
I was saying for Bonnie and Luffy, but
yeah, but still,
we made a bigger deal of that.
And then there was a whole Well, no, and actually, no. Going back to Thriller Bark, because it all goes back to Thriller Bark. Thanks, Vexus. There's a big deal about Oars being Luffy and how Luffy like takes a fist and like say, there's only one Monkey D. Luffy, and that's me.
Yeah.
And then the whole crew fights Oars. Here, it's very pedestrian, where this is an actual human rights violation.
Yeah, for sure.
It's wild.
Like we saw them on the slavers list, on the auction list, right? And it's definitely, fishermen particularly, like Zakk said earlier, it's a very sore subject for them.
Yeah.
But apparently not to Jinbei.
Jinbei don't care.
And you know what's worse? He has the sun on his chest. Now we know what the sun represents.
Yeah.
Capitalism. Profit off freaking slaves.
Yeah.
And then
the sun feeds the plants, and then we sell the plants for money.
Yeah. They want to reach the sun, but they won't when it's on me.
Yeah.
You know, this tattoo's a reminder to always keep them below the ocean.
Well, actually, the sun represents the parable of Icarus, you see. Where if we crawl too close to the surface, they will always melt our wings and put us back where we belong. It wasn't a parable.
It was literal. Yeah, don't go up to the sun. On that note,
great symbolism, Captain.
I'm going to have to leave and dive into the closest sun. But you guys have been beautiful.
Thank you so much for coming. Tell the people where they can locate you, Din.
You can find me on the PooTube on Den Cushy. I'll drop a video tonight about Long Ring Longland, and then one on Monday about orphans in the One Piece world and how they're going to take over.
Wow.
Make you follow, like, share, and do everything for Zakk and Polly. Check out Polly's sleep videos. Make sure to leave them on where you sleep. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been long awaited, and I would be keen to do another one. It's just been moving, and now I'm moved and I'm settled. So let's go.
We're doing it, boys.
Excellent. While you're on the internet, looking around, check out Pinball PA Zakk on the TikTok. He's blowing up. His arcade is amazing. Also check out Reddit Sephiroth on the YouTubes, where he is covering wrestling all the time, and he has a great Final Fantasy 14 video.
I post videos sometimes on YouTube.
Let's go.
While you're out there, more importantly, find yourselves the Roast Skull podcast on YouTube and give us a subscribe, a like. Give us view time. I need more numbers. I need number go big.
Yeah. Every number that gets bigger will give you a poneglyph.
Or at least one glyph. One letter of a single poneglyph. So you have to. You got to give us at least 70 or 80 likes before you actually get the whole picture.
We'll call it a monoglyph because it's just the one, but you get the idea.
Of course. And find yourself the Polypede Works channel and drop a subscribe right there.
Well, the bar is open, boys.
Don't be dodgy.
We'll see you in the next one.
Whoa. Peace.